Well, hello and a very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch, a show that gives you all the latest news and updates from the digital ecosystem. I'm Priya Sheth. Thank you so much for taking the time out and logging in on a Monday evening. Time now to get you all the top news stories that we've been tracking this evening. Well, e-commerce battles seem to be raging. India's largest online grocery player, Big Basket, has slapped a legal notice on startup Daily Basket over the use of the term basket in the brand name. Now, after receiving this notice, Daily Basket went ahead and said that Big Basket is bullying Daily Basket, and the startup said that apart from the products that they sell, its grocery website as well as its app are nowhere similar to Big Basket's. Well, moving on to the second headline of the day, Kinara Capital has secured $10 million from IndusInd Bank with a 100% guarantee from the US International Development Finance Corporation. Now, existing investors also participated in this funding round, and this investment will be used by Kinara Capital towards the expansion of its MSME financial inclusion across manufacturing, trading, and services sectors in India. Well, electric vehicle startup Matter expects to clock a turnover of $1 billion by 2025. Now, the Ahmedabad-based company, which has so far invested $3 million, will be launching its lithium-ion batteries for solar and renewable management by April 2021. This will be followed by its first electric motorcycle closer to Diwali this year. Well, moving on to the final headline of the day, restaurant services and reservation platform Dineout has acquired event curator StepInOut. This is Dineout's fifth acquisition and will enable the brand to host multiple types of offline experiences ranging from food festivals, live comedy, night markets, and even movie nights.
Well, moving on to our second segment, I have with me a very special guest, somebody who has been in the diabetes management space. I have with me Mr. Gautam Chopra, who is the CEO and co-founder at Beato. Many thanks for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. I want to begin by asking you, I think health is taking center stage for all of us owing to the pandemic, and you yourself have seen exponential growth over the last couple of months. So run us through how the journey has been so far, and I believe 2020 was a very good year for Beato.
Yes, thanks for having me over, Priya. Appreciate it. Yes, so of course, from a health perspective, 2020, revealed that health is more important than anything that we can actually, focus on. And very interestingly, of course, when the pandemic hit and the lockdown started in 2020, that was tough first couple of weeks for us as an organization as well, because obviously, like any other, we had to reorient the way we actually worked, as well as took care of our patient population. But very quickly we got to grips with that, and interestingly, what we saw was significantly higher adoption of our solution, which is, as you know, it's a digital care ecosystem for people to be able to manage their chronic conditions like diabetes. And we saw significant adoption, engagement increasing by about 35 to 40% over this period. And what was really heartening was that by the time, the lockdowns lifted and a new normal of life was established, we found a much higher number of people in the controlled glycemic state, which for us means that people are becoming healthier and taking more control of the sugar levels than they were even before the pandemic. So that trend continues, because what COVID revealed was that people with underlying conditions like diabetes, hypertension, etc., were far more at risk of adverse outcomes of a condition like arising out of COVID, which made the aspect of awareness trickle down to a large number of people. And of course, solutions like Beato and many others across the health tech actually saw a steep increase of users, as well as them coming back to the platform on a more routine, frequent basis. And we've actually benefited from that over the last year and a half now.
So as I understand, you have several different adjacencies available on your app in terms of management. In terms of adjacencies, how have the adjacencies grown, and are you looking at further expanding the kind of adjacencies that you offer for diabetes management?
Yes, we do, Priya. So what we realized, in fact, this was right during COVID and the peak of it, that we actually identified the need for in fact subscription as well as insurance for people with diabetes, because typically in India you find it really hard to be able to get adequate insurance, and we actually developed a very interesting and affordable product, which is actually a monthly subscription model, and we rolled that out during the pandemic, and the uptake was fantastic. So we've seen a significant amount of momentum developed in terms of these subscription models that we had, where we bundle different adjacencies, whether this was on the IoT based monitoring management through our team of certified diabetes educators, doctors, and we bundled that with actually a very broad and affordable insurance product. So we found that people were a lot more receptive in terms of being able to not only monitor and manage, but actually protect themselves against financial burdens that health could pose over a long term. As we go forward, of course, we look at three vectors of expansion for us, Priya. First one is continue developing, where going deep within diabetes. So expanding on our subscriptions, bringing more stickiness into the products as well as the monetization that we have. The second vector of expansion for us is looking at adjacent chronic conditions. So people who unfortunately have diabetes, there's a high comorbidity risk with blood pressure or cholesterol. So we've actually started looking at the individual as a whole now. So we've got into hypertension. We've forged partnership with the likes of Omron, etc. There, we are also looking at cholesterol as a condition that we can help people manage and improve their health outcomes. And third expansion vector for us is geographic. So since day one that we've been building Veto, we've always had the aspiration to be able to build a product that is not only limited to India. We're India first and made in India, but actually have a product that is applicable across the world and helps over 1 billion people who have chronic conditions. And we truly believe we have the right product that can actually scale geographically. And with that, we've actually entered into the ASEAN market very recently as well, where we are beginning to develop and see traction already.
So in terms of absolute number of subscribers, what is the total number that you have on your platform within India? And as you look at scaling up, I believe Singapore is one country that you all are looking at entering into. So what is your roadmap of growth in terms of users, any targets that you're working with?
Right. So, Priya, we have about 150,000 active users on the platform already who are monitoring, on a very frequent basis, and whose sugar levels and other health vitals we've been actually able to improve over a period of time. In fact, we just recently published our study in the American College of Physicians conference, where we saw that, across, it was one of the largest studies in terms of the number of people who participated in it. And across the 7,500 people, we actually saw their improvement in the incidence of hypoglycemia, which is when sugar levels start to go down. And that is really the proof of the pudding, and that is actually helping us not only to be able to build the subscriber base and continue to evolve it in India, but also look at other markets where similar sort of problems exist. Diabetes or chronic conditions is not something which is limited to India. When you look at the ASEAN, especially Singapore, the incidence of diabetes is, of course, the population is much smaller, but the incidence of diabetes is in fact even higher than in India. So when we've been able to build this clinically evident solution, it is very now easy for us to be able to port it to other geographies and work with, not only just being direct to consumers, but actually work with partners and different stakeholders in the ecosystem, whether these be providers like insurance companies, whether these be pharma companies, and also the hospital systems in these geographies. Having had a base in India where we understand, the consumer needs, we've been able to build a solution that is helping people achieve positive outcomes. Helps us get a stepping stone into some of the other geographies, and we are really excited about that.
So far, in terms of fundraise, you've raised about $7 million in terms of funding. Of course, with these kind of plans of going overseas, as well as the other kind of expansion within India that you spoke about, what is your plan in terms of overall fundraise, and what kind of time frame are you looking at a fundraise?
Right. So Priya, of course, digital health has been in the news, of late. Many solutions, when you look at benchmarks like ours, even in the US, like Livongo, Omada, etc. So Livongo is a very close benchmark to that of Veto in the US, and they've had a massive IPO earlier, and then there was a merger with Teladoc, which is another unicorn health company, digital health company in the US. So that interest, of course, starts to trickle down to other parts of the world as well. So we have actually been fortunate enough to not only see an increase in users, their adoption, engagement, etc., but also investor interest. We raised our previous Series A round. It was early in 2020, so just before the pandemic. And given the the traction that we've had, as well as the expansion that we're gearing up for, and the growth potential that exists, we are looking to be able to add and raise another round in the very near future. So we are in active discussion. Let's see how things pan out.
And how much are you looking at raising? Is there a ballpark?
So we are looking at two different constellations. I may not be able to comment entirely on that yet, but we are looking at a much larger raise, our Series B, perhaps 9 to 12 months from here. But since given that there is interest in the space at this point in time, we might want to be able to do a smaller round at this time itself.
I wanted to ask you on the devices front, would you look at, getting into the manufacturing space for devices, considering that that is also something that you offer, which can be directly connected to smartphones?
So Priya, we didn't really set out to become, we're not really a device company in any case. We're a platform where, of course, we connect IoT devices that help people to be able to monitor, and for us to actually get that data instantly and provide real-time intervention through the AI-driven triaging system, or our diabetes educators and doctors, etc. Now, of course, when you look at India, the penetration of devices has been fairly constrained, and one of the reasons for that has been the cost of ownership, as well as the fact that connectivity through some of these devices, whether this be blood glucose, blood pressure, etc., has not really been seamless or very deeply integrated into the ecosystem of a provider. So we've been able to accomplish that, especially on the blood glucose side. In fact, we recently, during the pandemic, we shifted the manufacturing from China to India. And launched our, the Curve connected glucometer, which is first of its kind, connecting with the USB. It's made in India entirely. We're looking to, not only build, change form factors depending on the needs of the geography, like we have done with the Curve, but also partner with others. So, for example, for Singapore as well as in India, we partnered with Essentia, which is one of the largest, diabetes device makers, and their devices are deeply integrated into our ecosystem. Then looking at hypertension, we are actually evaluating a partnership with Omron, which we already have in India, but also to take it beyond India to other geographies, etc. So we will have a mix of, some devices where, unfortunately, either the affordability or the seamlessness of connectivity doesn't exist. Bito will go and be able to create those value propositions ourselves with partners, or otherwise actually use, the likes of other players in the ecosystem. So, for example, with Abbott in the continuous glucose monitoring system, we already have their devices as part of our continuous glucose monitoring that a handful of patients are already beginning to use. So it will be a mix of both. But we don't manufacture anything ourselves. It is all contract manufacturer. Of course, the IP and the design belongs to Bito.
All right. On that note, many thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and good luck for your expansion plans. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Priya. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure talking.
Well, time now to say goodbye. Many thanks for joining us on this edition of Daily Dispatch. I'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Goodbye and stay safe.